Most of them are saying that yes, they feel the money that comes to counties, according to them, is enough. I'm not here to change the narrative and say it's not enough. People on the ground agree that money is enough. But they say the MCAs and their priorities are either misaligned or wameingia kwa mifuko governor, and because of that they are not oversighting the county. We have an MCA here, Alai. Don't you agree that if these are people in Naivasha and others in Nakuru, hawajakutana mahali wakazungumza,
yes.
wanasema the money is enough. The money, even as we debate at the national level whether they should get more, people on the ground are saying money is enough. It's just misaligned priorities. Na MCAs wanafanya mambo yao.
No, I think that the MCAs need to publicize their works more, because I think they're doing much more. I think also we need to, the county assemblies need to engage more with the public, especially now that we are going to the public, the reading of the budgets in the various counties. I think that we need to go like the treasury, the CS treasury has been going to Bunge la Wananchi. I think we need to have more open public platforms, not only the formal public participation forums. I think we need to engage where the people are. We need to publicize their work.
I thought that was already required by law, that the county level, there are set out meetings where members of the public come and give their opinion in the budget-making process at the county level.
I think they're too rigid to have a robust engagement. And also, we are not partnering with the media more to ensure that these forums are public and also, popularized enough to ensure that people get the perspective where the challenges are. Because people talk about the MCAs, they forget that there's something called the Senate. They forget that there's somebody who is a bit up higher in the rank who can properly oversight the governors, because the MCAs face their own challenges internally and also in relations with the county governments, how they were structured. But I think that is a conversation which we need not to throw back to the public. We need to ensure that we are challenged, and we'll talk through the county assemblies forum. We ensure that we partner with the medias, the various medias, even the local medias, because sometimes you engage the national media, then you lead a county like Turkana or Kisii, where the popular media there is a local ethnic radio station there. So we need to find ways of ensuring that the public knows what the MCAs are doing, they're trying to, because I know that the MCAs in Nakuru have been at odds with the governor for some time. I know that most of them don't approve of some of the things which are happening there. So when I hear what the members of the public are saying, I know the challenges of the members, including the very popular members. They are very vocal on some of these issues, including the MCA of Naivasha, where this thing was. I know that because when we engage in some of the forums, and there have been, and also I think you need to invite more. I think for the first time, TV47 need to find ways of engaging with an MCA from probably Turkana, because some people talk about the MCAs in Nairobi, MCAs in Kiambu, Nakuru. Bring the MCA from Tana River there, and what are the challenges here? I think that we need to expand the forum more, and we'll find a more robust understanding of what kind of challenges we are facing as the representatives of the people at the grassroots level. Yeah.
All right. Osido, whatever people are saying, probably we missed the point, because at the national level and looking at what the governors are demanding, what the Senate is asking for, and what the national government is giving, we may lose touch with the ground. When people talk about 15 billion shillings, and they know how much has come to the county, and they know the gaps even in own source revenue and the corruption that is there, they still feel that money that comes is enough to a huge extent. Yet they feel that the priorities, there's a lot that's not being done. Are we wrong when we say that even the little money that goes there could be enough?
Fred, I agree. I agree with the viewers, both in Nakuru town and in Nakuru Naivasha. So that's Naivasha sub-county. To the extent that if you listen to these speakers, they are very informed, despite, of course, some of them having mixed understanding of how governance and all these processes work. But fact of the matter is that they know what they are asking for and what they are actually expecting from the county. This whole thing begins from what is called a CIDP, the County Integrated Development Plan, which really is the overarching plan that is expected to be driven by the county government for the next 5 years in all the processes that are done. So if you listen to them talking about their priorities, they sound like people who have probably even attended some of those CIDP meetings. They have been part of the annual conversations on what is called the ADP, the Annual Development Plan, which is also split or brought or broken from the CIDP. That is where a lot of the budget priorities actually are attached to. So you have a project within the ADP and you give it a budget. So when we listen to them saying we know the money that has come in, it is true that they know. Now the challenge really is partly what Mheshimiwa is saying in terms of the awareness. So when the assembly has broken down this money and you've appropriated it, it is important to help the citizens know that even as you give us the budget, we have what is called the development expenditure, we have what is called the recurrent expenditure. A lot of what we see happening in counties is safeguarding the implementation aspect of the county government. So that is therefore the recurrent, what you expect to do every day, salaries, etc. But when it goes to depart to development, that is why they're even saying we have Sodom's apple that is growing on our drainage, etc. Because it is not clear how therefore communication or engagement with the citizens happen post these mega things. Even as Mheshimiwa Lai says, we need to partner with the media to go and do these town hall meetings on the budget. It doesn't stop there. It has to go into who is getting the tender. This tender is for what? What are you saying in terms of the drainage, in terms of these potholes on the roads?
Yet we understand that some MCAs have managed to corner their respective county executives into awarding them what they call now ward development funds, which is not even provided for in our budgets. That could be part of the problem. That's why they're pointing fingers at the MCA.
It is, and that's partly where now the loopholes for this thing we call development money comes in, because the governor will identify a very vocal MCA like Mheshimiwa Lai and say, what do you want? In fact, the other day, your roads in Kileleshwa were trashy, you are fighting everyone in this area, you want to take this money, enda ujipatie shughuli. So the moment they say enda ujipatie shughuli, they expect that the elected leader needs to understand that this noise that you're making here, go and get yourself busy, because you're a politician, you expect to be re-elected, you have ambitions, you have your own visions. But the broader constitutional expectation of the roles of the MCA should not be compromised, which is to oversight the governor, which is what the viewers are asking for. Ulizeni hayo maswali ngumu so that we're able to understand where our money is going to. Number two, of course, we understand that you are supposed to make laws. So anything that is affecting us, the memoranda we write, the petitions that we submit to you, we want to see action from the assembly, because that action is what will either stop the excesses of the executive, the county government, or support when you pass a law, for example, on valuation rolls, to be able to bring in more money through on-source revenue, and then we see the works that are not being done. And then, of course, is to represent the people, that we cannot be seeing differently. We don't expect that the citizens don't expect that the MCAs, who are their representatives, should be seeing differently from what they are seeing, which is why they are saying you have been compromised. Mmepelekwa Kisumu for some retreat, Siala Resort, mmepelekwa Mombasa, wengine unasikia wanapelekwa hadi Dubai. That is what the citizens are feeling, and they are saying you are not representing us. But if you look at the expectation is that the MCAs crack a balance, and in my view, I think I've been one champion of advocating for strengthening of county assemblies. Even as we talk about the Senate, I get surprised, as Mheshimiwa Lai said, and we see it happening, that you get summoned at the assembly, county assembly, and you have no documentation, and you want to bring in excuses, But when you go to the Senate, you actually have boxes that sometimes you have to hire Kuro services to be able to help you support. Why are people compromising the county assembly? Because that is really where citizens who are aggrieved, like the ones that we are listening to, will actually find their first point of call and come and raise concerns, and then ensure that answers are given to them. And that is why even impeachment of governors actually begin at the county assembly, because this is where they sense the strength of accountability, transparency,
first line
integrity.
Of oversight.
That is purely the first line of oversight. But as I finish on this, so that he can come in, is also to talk about some of the issues that they've actually addressed. For example, devolution of functions. We have Schedule 4 that determines what functions are done by national government, what functions are done by county government. And we were with you in Homa Bay. If you remember the late former Prime Minister saying, kwa nini Kera na Kura bado wanajigamba na kazi za county zipelekwe kwa county? is a conversation that we really have to overemphasize and continue to speak about, that functions that have been that have been devolved and are still held by national government should be fully devolved. I know the conversation is going on. It is taking too long. Maybe there is no political goodwill, and we still continue to appeal to the president to ensure that through all these institutions, IBEC, the council that he chairs, that brings together the governors and himself as the chair, really need to begin to strengthen even the IGRT's Intergovernmental Relations Technical Committee recommendations on how this process is supposed to be fully completed. Because when we do this, we estimate as County Governance Watch that we'll actually be able to save over 870 to 900 billion for counties just on those roles. When you talk about roads, you talk about health, you talk about housing, you talk about agriculture, you talk about environment. This budget we are talking about has actually allocated about 109 billion for poverty eradication, equity, etc. for the national government. If poverty is actually felt at the county, the local level, why should national government be holding 109 billion?
And that's what they say, that the money should follow the functions and the services. But you've seen the level of understanding.
Yes.
Do you feel there's a gap? Because they seem to understand the functions that the county government is supposed to attend to.
Yes.
They're not asking the county government to do what they're not supposed to.
Yes.
And the clarity of thought is rather impressive.
Yes.
Do you still feel there's a gap in their level of understanding of who is to blame? Because they all know where to point their fingers.
Yes.
And it's at the MCAs.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the good thing with the Kenyans, it's a very educated lot. And there are people who love information. Now, to just start where he has talked about the functions. So our citizens know the functions of the county government. And the functions are there in our constitution, I think Schedule 2, Schedule 4, Part B. Okay. So 14 of them are there. Of course, including agriculture, but I still see fertilizer, about 18 billion being given to the national government. Housing, and I still see more than 118 billion going to national government. So those are the functions of the county government. So people know the functions of county government. Now, unfortunately, there are some information which is usually hidden from the public. Now, the law says in fiscal responsibility, I think in Chapter 7 also of the PFM, that 30% should go to development, 70% should go to recurrent, at least. Now, unfortunately, this one happens within the first budget, so that when we do supplementary, we've already spent so much money in recurrent that when we do supplementary, the development money has already been eaten. Now, what eats this development money? Fred, when we came to devolution, about 40% was going to pay salaries. And the law says that you cannot you cannot pay more than 35%. That's also PFM. That 5%, that's the ceiling. Now, counties were supposed to show their efforts to go towards 35%. But unfortunately, today as we speak, it is at 47%. So in every 100 shilling, 47 shillings goes to pay salaries. So who is supposed to oversight? It is true, the MCAs, but also don't forget the senators. Now, another thing, that 47%, about 7 or so percent goes to the county assembly. That is non-discretionary, and we don't discuss about it because it is supposed to be that way. So more than 50-something% is non-discretionary. We talk about salaries and go to the county. But remember also, from the budget, from the staff emoluments, there is also another part of allowances and also operations and maintenance. So those amounts, even when the controller of budget gives the report, the first report says about 80% of recurrent has been absorbed, but it's only 5, 10, or even 20%, which maximum of development has been absorbed. So where is the dislink here? And the dislink is the oversight fails not from the MCAs, but from the Senate. The senator in charge of that county has failed. the MCAs of that county may have failed because they are not looking at the books properly and saying, why are we going towards 50%? In fact, some counties are at 54%.
They're basically employment bureaus.
Yes. In fact, I visited some of the counties and they were telling me this is a way of creating employment. Now, you create employment to about 5,000. You forget about 1 million people who are out there waiting for the remaining amount. Unfortunately, nobody talks about it. This is why people are aggrieved. And when we are talking about public participation, when the county assembly, because today county assemblies are supposed to be going to the public to do public participation to the budget which was proposed by the executive, so that by 30th they may approve the same. But now the question is, do they go and tell the people, by the way, this is how the budget looks? It says 54% is going to the staff emoluments. Is that what you want? Then the people say yes or no. Then they go and record. But unfortunately, that one does not happen. We go and rubber stamp public participations. People came, maybe they ate or they sat and they signed and they said, this is what is supposed to be done. Every public participation, it's supposed to be informed by actions taken. There's a question which was very important that you asked in the beginning, that why do we balloon, or why do we say that we will have a budget of 10 billion and we know that we cannot raise the extra 2? The issue also comes back now to the executive and the county assembly. You know, I've served in that position. Now, what happens is, just like in the national government, they say that we want 4.82 trillion budget. But what we have on the table is only 3.6 trillion. So where is the difference, 1.1? Now, the national government is able to borrow. So we will borrow like $1 billion this year. But now the county assembly, but now the county governments do not have that way of borrowing. So it will remain there. And I give a specific example. 2024-2025, there was a target of about 87 billion of OSR collection. So we did not, yes, collectively, we did not hit 87. We hit 67. So what happens to the difference of 20%? I mean 20 billion. Yet we had allocated, works were given, and all that. So it's also another loophole, or it's another pit that we are going even deeper in pending bills.
All right. We have exactly 3 minutes. No, 2.5 minutes. So back to the question. Our county is getting enough. Mesikia watu wa Nakuru wamesema they're getting enough. Yeah? And Naivasha, they're getting enough. Let's start with you, Bwana Osido.
For the first time, I imagine that counties are going to get more, because at 420 billion, the proposal that is in the budget,
that's the highest ever.
Is the highest ever since we began 2013. The biggest conversation is, what is this money being used for? And counties can get more even if we enhance and strengthen our own source revenue potential.
Thank you. Yeah.
I think that the counties are getting more than enough, especially I'm talking about Nairobi County. I don't want to talk about the other counties. And I think that we need not to get more than we're getting from the exchequer today. I'm seeing a lot of support from the national government. I hope that it ends with the 2027. After that, I think that we need to, because we have proposed systems which can better, formalizing the informal economy, ensuring a lot of rates are not collected from the informal operatives. And I think that you can get much more. We can get to 80, 90, 100 billion in Nairobi. Nairobi is a premium address in the country. I don't think that it should be collecting less than 10 billion the way it's doing. I think that we are not ambitious enough, we are not formal enough, we are not bringing order. When you see disorder anywhere, it's an opportunity for revenue, for the government. And when we see a lot of disorder, and even the people, you see adverts on street lights, then somebody tells you there's no revenue. If anybody has an advert on a street light, they should be charged with vandalism, which is not working. If the light is working, they should provide proof that they paid for that service. So I think that the counties, especially Nairobi City County, should not get enough. I don't think that we should be getting more than 21 billion we are getting now.
Finally.
The question is from who? One, we are not getting enough from our own source revenue. We should get enough. then from the other place, from the national government. We are not getting enough from the national government. Why? Because national government have decided to take the works, obligations and assignments, responsibilities of the county governments. So the national government should give the county governments what is supposed to be theirs. Like for instance, what I've just said about fertilizer, agriculture, even health, even some roads. When you talk about better, the KK government with a better, it's supposed to be seen more going to the counties rather than being held in the national government. So in both ways, the counties are not getting enough, either from the national government, equitable share. They are also not getting enough from their own source revenue. And that would be my take.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. This year, I think from the equitable share, for the very first time, 420 billion shillings will go to the counties, which is about 35 billion shillings more. And this means that the counties are going to get more than they've ever gotten. But the question still remains, do you feel the county governments are doing enough with what they get from wherever, own source revenue, or even from the equitable share? Thank you so much, Murungi Ndai, who's a public finance expert, Robert Alai, MCA Kileleshwa, and Kevin Osido, who's governance specialist with and also executive director of County Governance Watch.